Hello students, hope all are safe at home. So children, in this video I am going to explain about the fundamental unit of life. The current chapter what we are dealing in online class. Okay, of class 9. So let's start. So what is fundamental unit of life, children? So fundamental unit of life is nothing but the cell. Yes, it is nothing but what? It is cell. So what is cell? Cell is the structural and functional unit of life. Cell is the structural and functional unit of life. Okay. So in this chapter we will learn about the structure of cell and the components of cell as well as the cell organelles associated in the cell. So before going to all these, first let us learn the history of the cell. Right? So history of cell, coming to the history of cell, in 1665, Robert Hooke, an English scientist, saw the cells in a thin slice of cork. Saw the cells in a thin slice of cork under microscope. He observed those as a honeycomb structures. He observed those as a honeycomb structures. And he has given the name called as cellulae or cells. Cellulae or cells. So this discovery has laid the foundation of living organisms, saying that even organisms which are living are made up of small units. Okay. Now let's continue with the history of cell, that is the discoveries of cell. In 1665, Robert Hooke discovered cell. In 1674, Antony van Leeuwenhoek has studied about the first living cell. In 1831, Robert Brown has discovered the nucleus of the cell. In 1838 to 39, M.J. Scluden and Swan has formulated the cell theory. Okay, so what are living organisms made up of, children? Just like a building is made up of bricks, our body is also made up of a tiny structures called as cells. Okay, so based on this cellular organization, the organisms are divided into two types. One type is called as unicellular organisms and the others are known as multicellular organisms. Unicellular organisms means organisms whose body is made out of only one single cell. Like example, protozoans known as amoeba, paramecium, euglena comes under unicellular organisms. Then what are multicellular organisms? Multicellular organisms means organisms whose body is made up of many cells. Example, plants and animals. So we all know that the cells are observed under microscope. Why? Because we cannot see them with our naked eye. So what type of microscopes are used, children, for observing this particular tiny structures called as cells? One is light microscope, whose range will be from 100 to 500. Second one is electron microscope, whose magnification range can be 1 lakh to 5 lakh cells. So shape and size of cells. Shape and size of cells. So cells will have different shapes and they are of different sizes. Why? Because according to the function they perform, they gain a particular shape and size. Like for example, the smallest cell is a bacterial cell, largest cell is ostrich egg, longest animal cell is nerve cell. And you know what is the unit given to the size of the cell? It is micrometer. It is micrometer, or we simply call it as micron. We simply call it as micron. Okay. Next, coming to the unicellular and multicellular organisms differences. So unicellular organisms means their body is made up of single cell. Multicellular organisms means organisms whose body is made up of many cells. Okay. So coming to the second difference of unicellular organisms, as their body is made up of only one cell, the single cell only will perform all the life processes like nutrition, respiration, excretion, growth, reproduction, etc. Then coming to the second difference of multicellular organisms, as multicellular organisms have many number of cells which are unique in their function, each and every cell is organized to form a tissue, tissue is organized to form organ, organ is organized to form organ system, and organ systems unite to form a complete organism. Hence, the multicellular organisms life processes are carried by different types of organ systems. Examples of unicellular organisms are amoeba, paramecium, euglena. Examples of multicellular organisms are plants and animals. Did you understand the difference between unicellular and multicellular organisms? So now let us learn about the basic unit of life, that is cell. Okay. So what does the cell will do, children? Cell will perform all the functions like intake of food materials, excretion, metabolism, respiration, etc. Okay. So there is division of labor in the cells, children. That is, cell is made up of different components along with the cell organelles. Okay. So the three main important components of the cell are cell membrane, cytoplasm and nucleus. Okay. And cell organelles, what do? They perform different functions like clearing the waste materials, they help in protein synthesis, they help in lipid synthesis of a cell. Okay, I repeat, what are the main components of a cell? The main components of a cell are cell membrane, cytoplasm, nucleus. And what is the role of the cell organelles present in the cell? They help in clearing the waste materials, they help in protein synthesis, they help in lipid synthesis. Okay. So in the next video, we will learn about in detail about all the components of the cell along with the cell organelles. Okay. Hope you all understood. Thank you.